What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my fairly new channel, Idaho Adventures. I have started this about 3-4 months ago and just trying to get rolling. Today, I am going to go over 8 power stations that will actually work in the real world of overlanding. I got into overlanding several years ago, and when I first started to realize that I wanted to find a way to run, like a diesel heater or to run a small refrigerator, or even just to charge my cell phone overnight. At the time, there really wasn't a lot available other than the full-blown, Victron dual battery setup, and there's nothing wrong with Victron. I mean, that's excellent products, right? But man, that was overwhelming. Here's a quick picture of a full Victron system, and when you look at all the wires and all the different components, and it just became quite overwhelming. So then someone had mentioned a power station, so I started looking at power stations, and most of them really weren't set up for overlanding just yet. I mean, they had, great AC, output that, you could plug in things, but a lot of the stuff that we use overlanding has 12 volt, runs off a 12 volt, like a diesel heater. You can buy a 120 hookup for that, but it converts it to DC. A lot of the refrigerators like ARB, Dometic, all of those run off of DC. So there just wasn't a lot available. My first Overlander, which I still own, is a 2006 Lexus LX470, and I ended up putting a Delta 2, a Delta 2 Max, I believe is what I put in it. And so I switched everything over to electric cooking. I found I've got a Dometic 75 liter refrigerator, so I hooked up the AC on that, and so I'm running everything off of AC in my Lexus LX470. And now I've progressed. I own a 2007 Toyota Tundra with an Alu-Cab, and I'm building it out, and it's going to be a full build. I'm going to have a 12 volt refrigerator, a 12 volt and a 120 volt hot water heater. I'm going to have a microwave in it. I'm going to have, a diesel heater. Well, actually a gasoline heater. I have an Eberspacher Airtronic that I'm putting into it. And so I need the ability to have both AC and DC. And at the time, I would say about a year ago, Bluetti came out with their Apex 300. I mean, it's a big machine. And when you purchase the Hub D1 with it, you can actually get a 50 amp Anderson DC out when you buy the Hub D1 with it, which I did. And that's what I'm currently running in my 2007, in my 2016 Toyota Tundra. That's what I'm running. I'm running the Apex 300. I'll show you, I'll get you a couple pictures of that so you can see that setup. But I would say over the last, and it literally feels like over the last 3 to 6 months, the power station, the big companies have been paying attention, and they realized they were missing something. So what the goal for today's video is to go over 8 different units. Each unit has a 30 amp DC out, so it's either going to be an Anderson plug, an XT60 plug, XT90 plug that we can hook up DC. The other thing that's common among all 8 of these is they also have an alternator charger, because one of the downfalls early on was, okay, we've got this power station. Now how are we going to charge it? We could charge it with solar, but solar's not always, the sun's not always shining, so we don't always get the solar in there. So what ended up happening is, and why I went with EcoFlow and the Delta 2 is because they came out with an alternator charger where I could charge it at 560 watts. You know, the cigarette lighters in our cars, you know, you could hook those up, but you get maybe 10 amps out of them, maybe 15 amps, and it would take, you know, 12 to 18 hours to charge a battery. But now with the alternator chargers, you know, 560 watts, EcoFlow has an 800 watt, Bluetti is 560. You know, you can charge these up while you're driving, you know, while you're doing your overlanding activities. You can charge these up within an hour to two, you know, very quickly. So I think now that for us weekend warriors, and I consider myself a weekend warrior, I think the best option are the power stations that now have the 30 amp DC outs and also have the alternator. And what the purpose of this video is I'm going to go over all 8 of the ones that I found. I spent a lot of time working with ChatGPT, and I've cussed at ChatGPT many times over the last 7 days, putting all this information together. I've double checked all the figures, all the dimensions, all the specs. I'm sure I missed something, guys, so don't beat me up. I think I've got them as good as I can. Again, I went through each unit, went to each manufacturer's website. I pulled all the info. So I think this is going to be a great video if you're looking for a power station, you're a weekend warrior, and you want to go do something. You want to get a power station. I think this is the video you're going to want. At the end, I'm going to give you a 1-page overview of all 8 units. So you can print off this 1 page and you'll be able to look at all the specs. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add actual reviews of each machine. I went out to like Hobotech, Jason, I forget Jason's website or his YouTube channel, but Jasonoid, I believe it is, and then Hobotech, and then a couple others. So if you want to actually see reviews on the machines, I'm not going to do that here because I don't have the equipment to do that. But I'll put links in the bottom down below so you can go watch the reviews and see what each ones have. Anyway, guys, I hope this is going to be helpful. We'll kind of get rolling here. I'll start putting up the slides. I did reach out to each manufacturer and said, hey, you know, I'm thinking about putting this comparison video together. Would you mind, you know, sending me a unit? And of course, with a whopping, I think right now I have maybe 20 subscribers, so they aren't willing to send, which 100% understand. So, but would have been nice to have the machines to show you. But what I've done is I've got pictures and I've got specs, and you guys can take a look at all this. So sorry, enough talking. I know this is getting long. Let's get into the video, or actually let's get into the slides so you can take a look at them. So this here is really what you guys came for. What this is I've got 8 different power stations that I'm going to go over. This first screen shot is just a screenshot of the price, the weight, and a size comparison. You know, the prices vary for each machine. Of course, Black Friday, you can get some great deals on these. But the machines I'm going to go over is the Bluetti Apex 300, the Bluetti Elite 300, which just came out, the Gold Zero, the new Yeti 1500, and this one just came out as well. The Anker Solix F3000, the big boy of the group. The EcoFlow Delta 3 Max Plus, which came out about 3 months ago. The Oupes Mega 2. The Pecron E1500LFP, or LFP, sorry. And then the Growatt Infinity 2000 Pro. So the next slide, what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down the specifications for each unit. The first one I'm going to talk about is the Bluetti Apex 300. This is the one I'm actually running in my Alu-Cab. And honestly, out of the 8, if you're going to run like an Alu-Cab setup with, you know, like an induction plate for heat, you're going to run, you know, a large water heater, you're going to run water pumps, you're going to run, you know, refrigerator, microwave like I'm doing. Honestly, the Apex 300 is really the only one that's going to work out of all of the 8 of these. It does have a 50 amp Anderson output, which is awesome. The battery capacity is 2,764 watt hours. The nice thing about this, the AC output is quite high. It's the highest out of all of them. 3,840 watts with a surge of 7,680. So I should be able to run the microwave and the induction plate at the same time with this. The big things are, AC charge time is about 50 minutes. DC charge time is about 1.5 hours using the 560 watt alternator. Now, Bluetti did just come out with a 1,000 watt alternator, I believe, the Alternator 2. So you can do it even faster. It uses a true 50 amp DC connector, output connector, and it has a 2,400 watt max solar input. So this is the all around. It's a little bit bigger, but if you're going to run a true Alu-Cab setup and have everything inside, the Apex 300 is really the only one that can handle that. The other thing I wanted to bring your attention to is the weight. This is 84 pounds, so it's a little heavier. But if you compare that to, to get 2,764 watt hours, you're going to need at least 300 watt hour batteries. And you'll also need all the equipment that goes along with the dual battery setup. So I don't think the weight's out of control, and so you should be able to use that. It's a little bigger as well, but it's fairly compact. It is, as far as the weight size, is 20 inches long, about 13 inches wide, and about 12, almost 12 and a half inches tall. Our next battery is the Bluetti Elite 300. This has only been out maybe 30, 60 days. It's 3,014 watt hours, so a lot of watt hours there. You have 4 AC units that put out 2,400 watts with a surge up to 4,800 watts. Solar input is respectable on this at 1,200 watts. Again, this is a 30 amp, but it is an XT90 connector on it. Weight comes in about 58 pounds, so decent weight. The size of this is actually pretty small, 14 inches long, about 12 inches tall, or wide and about 12 inches tall, right about there. Again, this has the ACE or the alternator charger. You can get up to about 560 watt hours, and then 560 watts, sorry. But you can also get the new alternator charger 2 from them, which I believe can combine to 1,000 watts. This is a great little unit. I haven't had a chance to play with this yet, but it's a nice small compact unit, especially for a weekend warrior where you don't have a ton of stuff. Like you're not going to run, any of the big things like what I'm doing, like a water heater or anything like that. This should work very, very well. Our next unit is Goal Zero Yeti 1500. Do not get this confused with the Yeti 1500X. The Yeti 1500 is a brand new unit. It is IPX4 rated, which means it's splash rated. So it should be able to be used in the back of the pickup and maybe not have to worry about as much as the other units. It has 1,505 watt hours. The AC output is 2,000 watts with a surge to 3,600. They did increase the solar input from 600 watts to 900 watts on this new unit. It has a 30 amp Anderson output. Keep in mind that the 30 amp Anderson output is different than the 50 amp Anderson connector. You can get both connectors on Amazon. They also have wire attached that you can hook these up. Again, the weight on this is a respectable. It's about 53 pounds, so not horrible. Again, a great new unit that just came out from Yeti, or from Goal Zero, sorry, is the new Yeti 1500. Check it out. Next on our list is the Anker Solix F3000. Now, this is the big boy on our list. It weighs in at 91.5 pounds. It's 3,072 watt hours versus the Apex 300, which is 2,764 watt hours, and quite a big difference in weight on those. The output's 3,600 watts for the AC. Again, comparing that to the Apex 300, it's 3,840, so that's 240 watt hours less, or watts, sorry, less for the AC output. Solar input's about 2,400. It does have a 30 amp Anderson DC out or DC connector. Charge time's about 1.5 hours. again, this is a quite a large piece of equipment. If I was going to do this, I would definitely choose the Bluetti Apex 300 over the Solix F3000. But again, it is on the list because it has an Anderson. It has a 30 amp DC out, and they also have an alternator charger. Moving on to the EcoFlow Delta 3 Max Plus. Again, these came out, I would say the Delta 3s came out about 6 months ago. A lot of reviews out there. One caveat on this, when you're buying the Delta 3 Max, be aware that you have to buy the Delta 3 Max Plus. It has to say Plus, otherwise it will not have the 30 amp Anderson connector on it. The Delta 3 Max does not have a 30 amp Anderson connector, only the Max Plus. So make sure you're aware of that. Again, with this battery, you got 2,048 watt hours, 3,000 watts for the AC side of it, and 6,000 surge. Solar inputs at 2,400. AC charge time is about 56 minutes. DC charge time with their alternator charger is about 56 minutes. Honestly, EcoFlow, in my opinion, has one of the best overall ecosystems between their phone app and everything. Also, I really like their 800 watt alternator charger that they have. I really like the EcoFlow unit. So let me know what you guys think of this one. Next on our list is the Oupes Mega 2. I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about Oupes. I've seen a couple reviews out there on it, and it's actually gotten very decent reviews. The nice thing about the Mega 2 is it is the second lightest unit, coming in at about 46 pounds. It's also the second least expensive unit out of all of them. Has 2,048 watt hours capacity. The AC side, you're at 2,500 watts with a surge to 5,400. Solar input up to 2,100 watts. It does have the 30 amp DC output, and it is an Anderson output. Again, AC charge time about 1.5 hours. And I think I already said it, but it is about 46 pounds. So the second lightest unit out of all of them. Up next is the Pecron E1500LFP. This is our lightest unit at 40 pounds. It is also the least expensive unit. So if you're on a budget and you want to take a look and you want something with a 30 amp DC out and an alternator charger, I would highly recommend taking a look at the Pecron E1500LFP. Has a battery capacity of 1,536 watt hours. AC output is 2,200 watts with a 4,400 watt surge. Solar input is a respectable 700 watts. It has an XT60 connector for the 30 amp DC output. It has a phone app. It has pretty much everything you would need. Again, if you are on a very tight budget, I would highly recommend taking a look at the Pecron E1500LFP. The last unit on our list is the Growatt Infinity 2000 Pro. I do not know a lot about Growatt, but honestly, I'm kind of impressed with their specifications that they've put out. It's a 2,048 watt hour battery capacity. Output for the AC is 2,400 watts and a surge of 3,400 watts. Solar inputs at 1,200 watts. They do have an Anderson type connector for the 30 amp DC output. AC charges and DC charges are all about the same as all the others. What I like about this is it's priced, seems to be priced well under $1,000, and it has everything that we need for, weekend warrior type stuff, overlanding. Let me know. I'd be curious if there's anyone out there that happens to have a Growatt or the Infinity 2000. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it and how it's worked out for you guys. Well, that's it for the individual specs and individual not really reviews, but individual, going over the individual specs of each machine. Before I talk about this last page, I would really appreciate it if you guys would like this video. Also, I would truly appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm trying hard to build this channel, trying to put out good quality YouTube videos like this one that should be helpful for everybody. Once again, please, I guess I am kind of begging, and yeah, I'm begging. Please go up and subscribe to the channel. Now, this last page is an overview of all 8 units, got all the specs on it. So this is something that you should be able to print off. I'm going to try to figure out how to attach it down below so that you can actually print off this page. And then that way you can kind of have all 8, the specs for all 8 in one place. And you can go through it. I think the only thing I'm missing on here is price, but prices fluctuate on these units all the time. You can pick them up during Amazon Prime days and Black Fridays, for even better deals. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Once again, please like and subscribe and have a great week. We'll see you guys on the trail. I'm back. I forgot to say one thing. I have done installation videos like on the Bluetti Apex 300 that you guys can take a look at. I'm going to put these, the link to my installation series up in the upper right-hand corner. Please take a look at those installation videos, and I'll be adding to those as I continue to build out my Alu-Cab on my Tundra. I've got probably 4 or 5 other new installation videos coming out as I progress on that build-out. Thank you.